being played.
You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Eternal Tournament Series, Season 1, Week 8. I'm Gabe, and in the booth with me, joining me once again, is Loco Pojo to break down the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we're up in the top 8 now, and we're seeing some Elysian mid-range. I'm pretty excited about it. Serb's Elysian Horn, which we have seen twice today, is going up against a Felon control list by Arod, running In Cold Blood, Rain of Frogs, Hailstorm, a lot of solid removal combined with a standard Champion of Cunning Black Sky Harbinger pack up on top. Felon control is certainly not dead with the death of Vara, and we are still seeing plenty of it. So we will see exactly how it goes with the new Hailstorm card and whether or not that's going to help out at all against this Elysian mid-range delightfulness.
Yeah, the boost in Primal's power really helped Feln and Huru as well. We're seeing a lot more Primal base here. So yeah, interesting. I think we mentioned it a little bit before we went live. We were talking about how good the Elysian deck could potentially be, just because there's just so many threats, and we saw Serb take out some control decks earlier just through the power of Dawnwalker. But who knows? Maybe this film deck has the answer.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance of it. There's two things that are going on with the control lists right now that are kind of putting them at a disadvantage of some of the more advantageous mid-range lists. One is that everyone's running 4 of Hailstorm, which is not particularly good card against mid-range list, and the other is that everyone's running 4 of In Cold Blood, which is a very, very slow effect and does not match up very well against basically anything in a mid-range list. You can use it against a Sandstorm Titan or a Surso and feel okay about it, but it's certainly not like the kind of tempo efficient stuff that you're looking for when the mid-range lists are fast and angry.
Yeah, I think the biggest role it plays is once you get past the point where, if you've survived to the point where tempo is no longer a thing and you're playing for card advantage, it's a great card. But before then, it's pretty rough.
Yep, it can be very, very scary, and doesn't help too much against any of the current Justice decks we're seeing. We didn't see a lot of Armory in the last couple of games or anything in the top 8 that I know of, so that would be sort of where I'd expect that card to be seeing a lot more play. But it looks like most of the aggro decks stayed away, knowing that Hailstorm would be a problem that they had to work around. They haven't perhaps yet solved. And we haven't seen anything with a lot of just Justice-dependent stuff. And that's been sort of a weakness of In Cold Blood. But these decks are still pretty flexible and still pretty capable of dealing with stuff. So hopefully we'll see a pretty good round, and we'll see if Serb can take Arod or if Arod can take Serb. I think my money's on Serb for this one.
Yeah, I think we've seen all day today, the more proactive deck has won every single match, basically, except for maybe some of our backup matches.
But yeah, there's definitely still some film that's at least made it into the top 8. So it's possible some of the games we weren't watching, those decks have been doing well in. But yeah, so far, a lot of the proactivity is really, really what's been important.
Well, we saw a very proactive film list earlier, and this one isn't that reactive. It does have some very good threats in Champion of Cunning, but not playing the Durakas that we saw before. But yeah, still very controlling, and we're gonna see Serb stuck a little bit on power here.
Yeah, he's off to a bad start. He doesn't have double time influences, which is what he needs for Dawnwalkers and False Princes. Picks it up at least, so he's not going to be too unhappy over the next couple of turns, but he does miss his 3-drop, and that means that his next couple of turns are going to be a little bit weaker in comparison to the kind of tempo that the mid-range deck really wants to pick up against these later game control.
Yeah, and we don't know what's going on in Herod's hand just yet, but looks like they're going to get down this Feln Bloodcaster. And as long as they keep drawing power, they should be good. That 3rd power for Serb going to do a lot of work here. Has to make a choice, though, because this strategize is super tempting.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to get your stuff set up a little bit better, but I think that it's probably more important for Serb to develop. He's good on the Dawnwalker, he's good on the False Prince. The Dawnwalkers will probably get brought back by the False Princes, and that keeps him out of trouble with the Steward of the Past. He does opt to go for the Strategize, going to try and pick up a little bit more power or something along those lines. Draws two cards that aren't power, so I guess he's a little happier about picking that Strategize because that means that his next card is more likely to be a power than any of the previous ones.
Yeah, definitely. I think had he gone for that Dawnwalker, he could have had the killer Dawnwalker play available for him the next turn. But this is also pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
so here's a
guaranteeing his power.
Dawnwalker, a False Prince. He does have Unseal now, which is good for protecting some of his investments. Uh, Basically, just getting power here is going to mean he's going to be able to build a little bit better towards other threats and maybe do some other stuff. He's deciding to lead with False Prince, which is a more aggressive play, although he's lost a lot of that aggressive tempo with his sort of bad power and also his strategize. Like, basically, I don't know if the False Prince is as good as the Dawnwalker for like just value here at this point.
Yeah, it's always really awkward deciding to play False Prince or Dawn Walker first because when you have 5 attack blockers. I think because of the initiation in Serb's hand, I think playing the Dawn Walker is probably correct just because you can start getting that value going. You actually are going to get the Dawn Walker to 5 power. You're going to actually get through this stuff. But here he gets to just do
Yeah.
that all in one turn. So
Yeah, this
works out.
straight into an initiation Dawnwalker is pretty amazing, and it's not like there's a Steward of the Past in the Felon Control's main deck. So, like, he is going to be able to just get that card back and potentially play with it a little bit more. There aren't that many cards that kill. I think there's actually no cards that kill a killer Dawnwalker in Harad's deck. The best thing that he can do is kill the Dawnwalker and then Rain of Frogs his opponent's hand and hope to find another Dawnwalker.
So, couple options here. He probably wants to give killer or something and kill that champion, but he doesn't have anything that can do that.
Yeah, there's no good choices for it, and Surso's certainly not going to get the job done.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
Cerso can do it if he can pop the Aegis on the champion, but that would require playing Cerso now and then giving it killer next turn using Permafrost to pop the Aegis. But if you're gonna do that, you might as well just can Twilight Hunt? Oh, never mind. Twilight Hunt is not a Predator Instinct. Cannot give Champion of Cunning Killer.
yeah, Serb has to consider here if he wants to throw the permafrost and sacrifice the possibility of an unseal. It looks like he's past Harad, so we
Ooh.
get a little bit of back and forth here, and Serb is sitting on Surso and Doraka both. Doraka's great for popping the Aegis on champion, but he is still leaving this guy out for a while, and that could potentially turn on him in a bit.
Yeah, Herod not really able to actually get any damage down, just still on the back foot because of how much damage Serb is potentially threatening. Um,
Ooh, Harad is Celestial Omening here for a potential Zindil's gift. Uh, the Unseal is great. I'm wondering if Serb might have just waited on the Unseal, seeing as Harad was looking to do that at end of turn.
yeah, I think I wouldn't have minded unsealing whatever Herod tries to play off of the Omen, but you don't know that it's gonna not just be another champion.
Yeah, there's the potential that you get a little bit knocked out there. I certainly would have been delighted to see if he had let him get the Azindil's gift and then immediately unsealed it. But I think that Harad actually has better place than Azindil's gift to develop his board here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got Channel the Tempest and things like that, so.
All right, Serb probably has to play Surso here, which isn't his favorite thing in the world, considering he really wants to Twilight Hunt that thing. But there's not a lot of options,
Oh,
and
wow.
Harad has the Azindil's gift, so looks like unsealing the Celestial Omen was the correct play.
Certainly not game over, though.
Yeah, we see Serb now looking at a lot of potential options. He can play Taraka. He can use Twilight Hunt to kill the champion. If he kills the champion, then
I think,
Harad starts getting a lot of value with those
yeah, I
Bloodcasters.
think Daraka is just the best play here by far, because even though Twilight Hunt does deal with the champion permanently, Daraka just, you're not going to have a chance to play any other cards. Daraka's does the most on this board, a 7/7. Even if Daraka was just a 7/7, there would almost be an argument for playing it uh, over killing the champion. Obviously, the only thing stopping that is Serb's life total. But bringing back Dawn Walker and actually getting a real threat on the board is just so much better than anything else Serb could have done there.
Now, the Dawnwalker bring back is actually the most important part here, just because Film Bloodcaster has such potential to spiral the game in terms of advantage. We do see the Annihilate on Daraka, which is sort of what you'd expect. The 6/6 is alive and well. And Permafrost on the 5/2 means that, that's an awful lot of push. I don't think that Serb has a way out of this.
I think you're correct. I don't think there's anything that Serb can draw here. And that Reinarch certainly isn't it. So that's going to be Arod taking the first game 1-0. I believe this is a best of 5, so players should get right back into the second matchup without sideboarding.
Yeah, I think Arod had very, very good luck there. He picked up 2 of his best 1-0s in sequence, Omen into Gift. So, he definitely had most of what he needed to win that game. I'm not sure if he's going to have as good a luck in the next roundup, but there's a little bit of sideboarding going on. Cards like The Last Word can really stabilize you against the overall mid-range strategy of blue-yellow. And there's also some value cards like Thunderstrike Dragon, Withering Witches for sweepers. You can do Rain of Frogs if you want to. He's got lots of choices.
So looks like we're into game 2. And haven't taken a look at Arod's hand yet, but taking a look at Serb's, he does have that important Shepherd's Horn, which actually, Shepherd's Horn is an interesting card because it's not very good against control because, you don't care about getting life, but reducing the cost can actually be good. So it's kind of a strange card.
I think cost reduction is very, very valuable. And there are a lot of cards that are currently adding some cost reduction to various tribes that are probably going to see a lot more play as time goes on. But Shepherd's Horn is one of the best ones just because the cost reduction on it is absolutely absurd. And you can really get a lot done with it without ever having your stuff removed. So a lot of good possibilities there. Serb, however, is sitting on a 2-power hand. The Strategize might not fix for it, so he might toss this back.
Yeah, Arod's hand is all right, but yeah, he really wants that 3rd power. So he's probably going to send that back if he hasn't already redrawn. You really want to be able to cast that Wisdom. The Crest, though, might be compelling enough to keep it. Try and use that Scout to get a little closer to a power. So who knows? And he does keep it. So this Crest could find him a power, and it does. So he's in a pretty good spot with that Rain of Frogs.
Yeah, Power 3 gets him to Wisdom. Wisdom most likely gets him to Rain. And then he's got Cold Blood. He's got Champion of Cunning. He's got most of the necessary tools to win this game. Serb, on the other hand, finds his Primal Influence. It was just the thing that he was most worried about. So he's going to be playing Dawnwalker into Titan. He's got the Xenon Initiation set up. Overall, both players looking really good here.
Might play the Strategize here. Not the best place to play Strategize. Strategize a little better as the game goes on, but, it's never not good.
Yeah, I like it early to fix your power and get the appropriate amount of threats into your hand. But I think it's honestly a little worse late just because you are often in top deck mode at that point and you kind of want both of the cards.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I meant if you have lots of power to get rid of since you already played a bunch, whereas right now is
that's true. You can certainly get a ton of value out of that, especially if you're not a Xenon Obelisk focused deck or don't have any sort of way to power sync. So we see Dawnwalker here. That's going to go straight into False Prince or the Sandstorm Titan, and Serb actually leading with False Prince here.
Yeah, so False Prince, I kind of like leading with False Prince because okay, well, this Rain of Frogs is going to just roast Serb's hand here. There goes the Dawnwalkers.
Yeah, that's 2 Dawnwalkers gone. He's got the Initiation and the Twilight Hunt, which is just salt in the wound. There's a lot of bad things going on with Serb's hand now. That was one of the better Rain of Frogs that we've seen this tournament.
Yeah, well, you don't normally see a lot of Rain of Frogs anyway, so... but, hey, it has picked up some popularity thanks to Tin Man. But
I think there's been players playing it in pretty much every setup, but it's often more of a sideboard card. You rarely see a 1-of in the main board.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is interesting control stuff. He's got 2 False Princes there. He's looking at a couple of decent options. The Vara's Favors are obviously built for the False Princes, so Harad's not having any problems there. He's got Devastating Setback to kill frogs, and he's got Sandstorm Titan, or Serb's got Sandstorm Titan to respond, but in Cold Blood answers that. So Arod, I think, has already taken control of the board.
Yeah, Harad's in a really good position. I was gonna say Harad wanted to lead on the False Prince because he was trying to get rid of some permafrost maybe, so that his Dawnwalkers could be more useful as the game goes on. But the Rain of Frogs just took out the Dawnwalkers, and then Harad's got the devastating setback to deal with the frogs, so he doesn't even care. And now Serb's just really on this one Titan plan,
Yeah,
which
we see
is got an answer.
that's a pretty solid setup there, and he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, in cold blood is going to take out this Titan, and Serb just back to square one.
Yeah, we got a Felon Banner, a Seek Power. Like, this is looking pretty okay. 1-1, and then a Seek Power for some blue gets Serb up to the point where he can actually play his Whirlbear Behemoth. He's still got more material on board, but he does have to figure out a way to make that happen, and that's a little bit trickier with his current setup.
I mean, we're going to see an active Champion of Cunning next turn, and this Harbinger is going to clean up.
Yeah, Harbinger
these frogs,
swipes
so
the board, kills all the frogs, gains a
Yeah.
little bit of extra life off the permafrosted prince.
Yeah, Harbinger was a big draw because Herod kind of needed to play the setback, and that would take his whole turn, and that's not a very useful turn. This way, Herod gets to be proactive, play a 4/5 onto the board, and then remove the frogs. But hey, Serb did draw power and was able to actually get down this felt like a Carnosaur.
Yeah. No, this is
behemoth.
actually devastating. He gets to
Yeah.
Xenon Initiation this and take out the Champion of Cunning. He's still getting all of the power that he needs, so he's good there as well.
Yeah,
And the
wow.
+1 bonus from the Twilight Hunt means that he doesn't die to the Champion of Cunning when he goes with Xenon Initiation. No, not that he would anyways, it's Xenon Initiation.
Yeah, wow, drawing the power when he needed to put Serb right back into this game, and the Nightfall actually very relevant.
Yeah, I think Serb still had a reasonable volume of threats. Like, if he hadn't drawn the power, he would have been able to kill at least the champion on the turn with Xenon Initiation, but
Right.
it would have been a lot worse of a trade for him.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as clean.
Okay, so now we got Initiation, we got Daraka. I think Serb's got to go for Initiation here. He might be a little worried about the Annihilate, but I wouldn't be. I think that's your best option, so he goes straight for it, and 3 damage plus a little bit of ramp to play Daraka out if he wants to do some Daraka-ing.
Yeah, I mean, just as a 7/7 for 6 isn't ideal, but it's not bad against a control deck that doesn't play Harsh Rule.
Yeah, bow to your new queen. We've got a pretty solid setup here, and 15 damage in, so looking pretty solid. Okay, Serb not terribly likely to draw power considering he's just picked 3 of them out of his deck. He's at least at better odds than he was before.
Yeah, getting to put the Waystone is not bad. Yeah,
We
Herod
see
really struggling here. Like,
a false prince, so looking pretty good there. And beyond that, I think we're more or less looking pretty solid. I'm very glad to see Daraka making his way in various mid-range lists. He's quite playable even with spiciness, devastating setback into hailstorm, a mini little wrath effect, but Daraka's still out there. Long live the queen, attacking in for 7, and we're gonna see exactly how long that can go on.
well, he's bought himself one more. Never mind.
One more, never mind, Xenon Initiation, sir. So that is it for the Black Sky Harbinger, and that is it for Harad's deck. We go now into sideboards, and we're going to see who can pick this up. Harad's taken 1, and Serb's taken 1, and we're going to see exactly what they can do to change their decks around.
Yeah, that game was crazy. Rain of Frogs and various favors getting so much value, and then, still came back.
Yep, it's looking pretty solid.
So from Serb's side, Disjunction's only target is, I think, the gift, so probably not worth it. Scorpion Wasp, you can take out a champion, but you really want to be proactive. So unless you have some reactive stuff that you have too much reactive stuff to take out, really only looking to, in my eyes, at Rain of Frogs, Unseal, and Crystallize. And Crystallize, I think, is unnecessary here. Yeah, not enough units, so not even Crystallize.
Yep, yeah, there's not too many things that are necessary to bring in at this point. Like, they're both looking pretty solid on what they're putting together, but we'll see if there's enough of an influence. I think that at the moment the the Elysian deck is still somewhat favored, but it's possible that like with a couple of extra answers, maybe some more Rain of Frogs, he might be able to set up a better board for himself and stabilize a little bit more often.
Yeah, so Arod has Withering Witches, which are great here. Uh, Extract not ideal, more for the burn type matchups and some of the faster matchups. But I don't mind Withering Witch. I don't mind Thunderstrike Dragon, and I actually don't mind the Last Word, a card I typically am not a big fan of. I
Oh,
just
it's great against mid-range lists.
yeah,
Yeah.
against a list that whose units are so expensive that they can only ever really play one a turn a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, especially Elysian mid-range lists. Like Praxis mid-range lists, it's a little bit harder to play now just because
They can
Heart of
do
the Vault
some
exists.
yeah.
But like with Elysian mid-range, like you don't have a lot of direct reach. It's pretty hard to hit the weapon, and the weapon kills a unit every turn. So if you're at least somewhat in control of the board, that card is the stabilizer that will really get you all the way through, and will also provide you with the win condition.
Yeah, definitely. Also, it's really cool to win with Last Word, right?
Yeah,
Style points.
you get your style points, and you also get to deal with the fact that the Shepherd's Horn deck often has upwards of 50 life. So it's a pretty
Exactly.
fun time.
Yeah, you gain as much life as you want, buddy. I'll just kill you for free,
Hmm.
with that 9 power ultimate. But
Yeah, I like to
players
build goofy
should
Iron Thorn Argenport decks with Last Word
oh
and
my gosh.
lots of ramp. Just swing out for 18 on a turn when you're not expecting it. There you go.
Why don't you just do all of you? Why don't you just put put time in there, put in, the Talir in, double your power, just in one turn, Iron Thorn ultimate, play a Last Word, ultimate the Last Word,
Yeah,
You're
let me
not
just get
thinking big
my
enough.
Mask of Torment out. We'll do this thing.
Okay. Yeah, don't forget a new tomorrow. It's in the right colors.
I mean, have you seen? I'm sure I've got a clip somewhere of Marshall Ironthorn, New Tomorrow, Sanctuary
Oh
Priest, Mask
no.
of Torment. Just casual 60 power. Let's do this thing.
Okay, well, it looks like Serb's gonna throw back that hand. Didn't like it. Don't blame him. This one's not too bad. So the Scorpion Wasp did find their way in. I'm sure. Like I said, I don't think they're the greatest card, but probably has cards that they just don't want in the deck, like
Yes.
Hailstorm and things like that, and Lightning Storm as well.
Yeah, I
So
like
just
Serb's hand okay. It definitely needs to pick up more threats. So this crest has to find something other than a crest. That's not the greatest thing for him to be putting on the bottom, and he's certainly looking for any more mid-range just to actually push on the board. World Bear Behemoth is a big one.
yeah, World War Behemoth, though, we saw how powerful that was last game. Dawn Walker, though, I think one of the biggest cards in this matchup. Last time it got
Serb's
taken
brought in
care
some
of.
rain of his own.
Yep.
Revenge frogs. Let's do it.
Revenge of the Frogs, indeed.
Yeah, the tricky part here is that it does slow him down pretty tremendously to be playing those rains. So he has to decide if he wants to do it late and try to pick up some like Black Sky Harbingers, or if he wants to do it early and just try to pick up the biggest threat.
What?
Oh, second rain. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
All right, like the rain, it's down now. I don't know if these rains are actually all that good for Sir, but we'll find out. He's going to go ahead and toss one out and see what he can pick up. Currently, the hand. Let me see if I've got this. Oh, I don't actually have the hand cam for this other guy. Whoopsies. But
So
hopefully. Oh no,
not
I've got it.
sure. Not sure what the best pick is here.
I like
Like,
Black Sky Harbinger pretty well. It kills Dawnwalkers and also activates with Withering Witch. And if you can cut all the Withering Witch combos out, then you're not so sad about Witch. But looks like there is a Witch gone, and so that way the Harbinger is not as good. You can't get that combo off. I think that works out just fine.
yeah, getting rid of Witch and then getting rid of Harbinger in the next one is pretty cool. I just removal is kind of your worst enemy, but I think you can power through the removal. So if you just take out all their win conditions, you'll get there eventually. So I don't mind going for Witch Harbinger.
Yeah, he could even go Witch Last Word. Like, he knows that that card's threatening, and getting it out of his hand is essentially a discard. So he could hang around for a while, keep the Rain of Frogs in touch, and just, like, play it on turn 8 or something to hit Harbinger. The main problem with that, of course, is Cobalt Wastedown.
I mean, he might just take Annihilate and be like, I want to play my my Behemoth, but then In Cold Blood kills it, so I don't think that's really ideal.
Yeah, you could take In Cold Blood since it's, well, I don't know. Annihilate or In Cold Blood are both very good options. So he could take removal, he could take Last Word. I kind of feel like Last Word is the go here. It's not like Harad's really pushing. Black Sky Harbinger potentially wins him the game, but Serb's got the Scorpion Wasp. He's got a couple of decent options.
I think we're far enough away from last word that you just take Harbinger, you try and over you try and stress their removal more than they can really have. Um, once they just don't have win conditions, don't have blockers, you just don't have to play to anything other than their removal.
Yeah, it's true. The other thing is that Serb actually has that Scorpion Wasp in hand, and if he takes out the Harbinger, there's nothing to play Scorpion Wasp into, so Serb just gets to keep the Scorpion Wasp and use it to kill the last word on the turn it comes out.
Yep. He can also use it to deal with a champion later, but that's not nearly as relevant.
Yeah, so the Dawnwalkers are also pretty decent against the last word. We got a lot of decent options here. Arod is slowly moving up towards it. He has the Sabotage, which gets a Permafrost out, but that wasn't going to do anything here except pop Aegis's on Champion of Cunning, so I think Serb's not too bothered as long as he picks up the Zine Initiation somewhere in the future. Oh, downed in cold blood, and the frog, unfortunately, has fallen. We see Surso available as well as Worldbearer Behemoth. I think Serb's happy playing either one of those, but Surso's probably the pick, seeing as he knows there's an Annihilate.
Yep. Yeah, knowing his hand lets him play this Surso, which is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Harad's got access to a Dark Return, which mostly just gets a frog. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
there's anything that he can actually do with it beyond
Well, it draws
draw
him
a
a card off that Destiny Frog, which
Yeah, that's the nice thing. There is a little bit of value there. You certainly got some frogs there. I haven't seen a deck with second sights in it in a while, but boy, I'd be excited to at some point.
Well, Strategize is pretty good, but yeah,
Yeah.
Second Sight does things that Strategize cannot. And
Yeah, I'm just saying,
here,
if you ever second sighted a frog, it's a satisfying feeling.
I don't think I have. I don't think I have.
Well, all of these frogs are about to be pigs if Serb chooses to attack with Surso, which is kind of a problem. He's at a standstill, and the last word is there. So he probably just sits tight this turn and then uses his Scorpion Wasp. Except the problem is that he can't do that because he knows there's an Annihilate in hand. So he has to either play Worldbearer Behemoth, get it annihilated, and then hopefully have the Scorpion Wasp later, or he has to, just set up with what he's got.
Yeah, I think I like his play of just playing World Bearer. Like something has status Annihilate. We're getting back to Dawnwalker anyway, and then we get to play our second World Bearer Behemoth.
Yeah, okay, so no last word this turn, even though Harad does have access to it. He's holding on to the Annihilate, which isn't that important a card here. And I'm not actually sure what Harad's game plan is. He has an Annihilate, but that doesn't do anything here.
I think his plan was, oh, well, all right. I guess he wants to annihilate something so that he can then play last word and not have it die. But obviously, not going to work here.
Yeah, it's going to die either way. It's possible that he picks up... Yeah, I can't think of anything that he could pick up here that actually save him. Vara's choice if he had it, but Vara's intervention. But yeah, that's about it, and he doesn't have that, so...
Yeah, and Shepherd's Horn doesn't really do anything here, but doesn't matter because Herod is at 1, and there is a Scorpion Wasp ready to sting him for lethal next turn.
Yep. Who's got the last word? It's looking like it was Dawnwalker. Yeah. Actually, it looks like it'll be Scorpion Wasp, so... Oh, but Harad gets to strategize, which means that he can... if he's clever, he'll Vara's favor here, gain 1 life, and be stable. But nope, he lets it go, and Scorpion Wasp is in for lethal.
And that is 2-1 for Serb so far. So if he takes the next game, that will be the series.
Yep, it's match point for Serb, and Harad's trying to claw his way back in. We'll see if he can do it. Yeah, these decks are more evenly matched than I expected. Certainly, I think that I'm pretty sure that Serb's still got a pretty good chance at this. He is well ahead, and he only needs to win 1 more game out of the next 2, and I think he's overall favored to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth here. Any other sideboard cards that I didn't really mention? I mean, I still think Rain of Frog is interesting. I think Rain of Frog is a little bit better in from Herod's side, just because there's a limit to how many sweepers he can take out.
Yep. Yeah, that's certainly a high possibility.
But
Like
looks like they're in game 4 here.
ready to rock and roll, not doing any crazy sideboard. So with that, we'll just move into the next one and see what we can do. Serb's picking up a hand with 4 power and no threats. He's pretty confident that this Rain of Frogs is going to help him out just because his deck will consistently play threats while his Arod will not. So we'll see if there's any chance that he can just continue to be proactive here despite not having anything in his hand to be proactive with.
Yeah, and interesting that Serb managed to fit in Permafrost, Killer Effects, and Rain of Frogs, and to fit all these. Oh, and the Scorpion Wasps post board, because you really want to, be maxed out on your proactive threat cards against control.
Yeah, Serb Strategize could potentially offer a tough choice here. He's got 5 power, and it's exactly what he needs to play both the influence for World Bearer Behemoth and the influence for Cobalt Waystone. So if he picks up 2 threats here, it's going to be kind of a tricky threat. But he found an Amber Waystone, so that's probably the pretty easy pick.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the side of Herod, has the power they want, has the wisdom they want. Just trying to develop. Gonna try and get this Rain of Frogs down. Gonna be able to play it first, which is gonna be really key here. Interesting. I'd be really interested to see if they target Rain of Frogs with Rain of Frogs, but I don't think they can afford to do that. I think that the World Bearer Behemoth is just too powerful of a card.
I've never seen a Rain of Frogs targeted by a Rain of Frogs, but I like the idea. It's a pretty hilarious way to counter the counter to the counter. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Is it Rain versus Rain? Is it Rain versus World Bearer? Serb, Herod knows that Serb is running more than 2 Rain of Frogs. I think he got Rain of Frogs twice, maybe 3 times that game.
Yeah. And oh man,
All
frogs
right,
are frogs.
it's frogs on frogs on frogs. 5/5 full sprints, ready to rock and roll. And Serb's just gonna have to get in with the frog as it was destined to be. But we'll see if he's gonna be able to manage without the Rain of Frogs here to cut off Herod's hand.
Yeah, look out, Harad. You just turned 4 spells into 4 proactive threats that are 1/1s, but that's less important.
Yeah, the Vara's favor here helps out. Harad's really comfy with Rain of Frogs just because he can usually gain back any life he loses with the Black Sky Harbinger, so it's pretty okay for him. Serb
Yeah.
actually has a harder time with the Rain of Frogs. I'm still not sure if they are actually the correct sideboard in his deck. But on the other hand, he hasn't really played any other threats, so we'll see if that actually helps him.
Yeah, I think, I mean, unless Serb did some over sideboarding, I think that he just had so many cards he didn't want. I really hope that Serb didn't take out any threats for any of these cards.
Oh man, Serb's in pretty good shape here. He gets the double permafrost champion, although champion is kind of an obnoxious active ability right here.
Well,
So
pretty good shape is what? Oh no, I guess they can get rid of the permafrost. I forgot about that. I was
yeah, he
gonna
gets
say,
to counter the permafrost and then basically just set up with an unseal off of his whole setup. So World Bear Behemoth's going to stick around. It's going to be a giant pain in the butt. It's dealing 7 a turn. The main problem here is that he doesn't have a good way to deal with Black Sky Harbinger, and that thing's just going to get bigger.
yeah, Black Sky Harbinger. I was gonna say against if all Serb had was a frog, didn't look very good in the face of Black Sky Harbinger.
Whoa.
But
Arod with the greed play here goes for in cold blood on the World Bearer Behemoth, does not establish his Black Sky Harbinger. Now he's potentially dead on board. 7 damage this turn, another 7 next turn. If Serb can find any way to deal with the first Black Sky Harbinger, then Harad will not stabilize in time.
yeah, probably just not expecting unseal.
Yeah, it's a key card, Backlash or Unseal, to be pushing if you're playing against these sort of film-based decks. Certainly the Curse counter is not as important as the straight spell counter, but it is really nice to have that flexibility for Permafrost and Azindil's gifts. And here Serb is, just sort of sitting tight, waiting to attack in, and Withering Witch coming down, making it very, very hard for him to do so. That actually doesn't save him, right? He's got 5/6 here?
Yeah, I believe he's dead.
I
No
think
matter how you slice it.
I think Arod threw that. He did have a Black Sky Harbinger with a
Yep.
attack bonus to basically just block the frog and stay alive. So, oh, he couldn't block the frog. He would have just had to block the World Bear Behemoth. But still,
Still,
he
though.
had a couple of turns left, I think.
Yeah, so that means that Serb takes that series 3-1.
Yeah, very, very solid play. And we'll be seeing them in the next round. Will
Yeah,
be
so
our
let's see if we
quarterfinal match.
can do an update on our other quarterfinal matches. We had, yeah, they're all complete. So we had Bruised by God lose to Suckleg. So Bruised by God was our #1 seed on that sweet Argenport mid-range deck with Inquisitor's Blade.
Yeah,
I think
a little
Suckleg
sad to be
was
seeing that
on
run out.
Elysian, right?
Could be. I haven't seen his deck
Oh,
yet.
well, they're advancing. Yeah, so we're gonna see an Elysian mirror, sort of. Obviously, Serb playing Horn in the
Well, we're not going
semifinals.
to see it because we're going to go to Autrek
But
versus
yeah, we're
Second
gonna
Blue
go.
next.
We're gonna take a look at Autrek, who beat Unearthly 3-0, and Second Blue, who beat Aroma Nova. Second Blue on, I believe, that Xenon deck. And what is Autrek playing?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna be back with that matchup. Autrek is playing
Uru something.
Huru Aggro. Okay. Oh wait, is that who we saw on no,
It's quite
okay.
possible.
So
Lots
yeah,
of Huru
this is
flyers, lots of fun
a Huru
stuff. We'll-
flyer based deck featuring Alita Most Skilled and Huru Pacifier. So look
Oh, love
forward
the
to that.
unseen. Well done.
Yeah, an unseen aggro deck. Wow, this is cool. All right, I'm excited. So we will catch all of you guys back here in the semifinals.
Cheers.